There are other things in the world besides that as a subject.
It's my fair. See, he never gets angry at me, but unless I bring up how much I like studying Freemasonry, then it really becomes a very vile.
How could you like studying that?
Ticker, tell us about like how you started. Like, what made you go into conspiracy theory?
Oh, well, first of all, just a quick comment. Okay, first of all, a quick comment is that we live in a digital age now, and then that means that because we're no longer in the analog age, people like reference the past a lot faster, right? So you just look stuff up. And back, I think fashion would have ended sort of as an original sort of concept by about the end of the new wave thing. Remember in the 80s?
Yeah.
Once things started going digital and you could sort of like reference things faster, the analog trend kind of ended. So it's like your frame of reference that was based on like cassette tapes and the media available to you opened up into sort of like you could sort of easily get into the whole past, right? So that was sort of the end of an age. How did I get into conspiracy?
How old were you when you first began?
Well, technically that's kind of hard to track down, but I was, in high school, probably in the 80s, early 80s, I wanted to move out of my home, I think. And so I wanted to like get rich or invent or basically do something. So I would do pre-internet classified ads. So the internet before, the conspiracy before the internet was magazine classifieds, so obscure magazines.
Yes.
You'd have to find out all the weird stuff by actually like sending snail mail to people and sometimes giving them a couple of bucks for a catalog, that kind of thing. So that's how I would learn about these devices and a lot of stuff that you'd find quite early on is you'd get like the Loom Panics kind of books.
Oh, yeah.
So you could just sort of find book catalogs and start ordering stuff. And so I would just order the usual stuff,
But what was which subjects were you particularly interested in, though?
In what? In regard to conspiracy?
Yeah.
Well, I like sort of like amazing inventions and Tesla coils and a lot of other stuff, not only conspiracy, but basically just the whole field of just interesting stuff, interesting history. So conspiracy history can sometimes just simply be alternative history that is a little bit more candid, although I'm finding that if you go to good history books, they'll basically tell you sort of what happened. It's just that most people don't really want to read too much. Well, they don't really go that deep into some of the history.
Well, actually, now to come think of it, I was actually, before I really got into spiritual side, I was more like into paranormal. Well, back then, see, now this conspiracy community is so fucking specialized. In the old days, like the xenozoology or some shit, like weird animals was considered part of the paranormal. It's not anymore, but... So, like, I was, like, doing Bigfoot research, weird animal shit, like, but that was, like I said, back then it was considered within the realm of paranormal, like, monsters and, like, ghosts and shit, like, UFOs.
That was all, like... Monster.
Loch Ness Monster, man. I studied the shit out of that, too. But you know what I mean, man? That was all considered, like, part of the paranormal, which, but now that's one thing I wanted to ask, man, like, remember the old days, like, of course, to get, like, the really good conspiracy information, like, for me personally, what happened was I was just, like, walking down the fucking street, and I just happened upon, like, this one underground newspaper, just, like, lying on the road. I picked it up. It was, like, for Houston. So, I can't remember what's it called, but it was, like, really fucking underground. I mean, like, really fucking underground.
I don't know. A zine.
Yeah, it was, man, this thing was, like, so much fucking power. It was mainly music oriented. I can't remember what it was, but, like, man, punk rock, some other shit. But, like, this thing, man, it had, like, so much fucking information and, like, not just that location. So I went to the special places, to get the secret information. You had to go in the underground back then. Man, I had to go to some really fucking scummy places, dude. Always like, the alternative part of the town, like the hippies. Did you do the same shit?
More or less. Where I was, I guess it's in Canada, so it might not have been as interesting in some regards, but as Houston. But sure, yeah.
But like, you know, like Vancouver, Canada, did you also like go through? Yeah, I personally, like everybody I talked to who's American conspiracy theorists, they all went through this, you know, shithead patriotard militia phase. Did you ever actually? Do y'all even have militias in Canada?
Not really. I wish I would have kept the old snail mail catalogs for Christian Patriot Association. If you were into the CPA, then you know your stuff.
So that thing had now. Like lots of information in that.
Yeah, well, that was just like the whole Patriot. Like that's basically the Alex. You know, well, that's not really Alex Jones, but it's all the Patriot info of the day, like the most extreme stuff. I think they had the. Never mind. I think it was like really crazy stuff about Santa Claus being a satanic, all that kind of stuff. What the heck
that
was
is
it?
True though.
Yeah. No, but they would go into that, and then they actually had the Holy Book of Adolf Hitler. Like, I don't know how the heck you would get that, but or I don't know how anyone would write something like that, but they did it.
Oh man, that's like fucked up, dude. Man, tell you right. Let me tell you, like when you start off being conspiracy theorists, like pre-internet. Honestly, Ticker, I didn't know there was any other conspiracy theorists when I started. Because I'd like to say, you just go to the fucking in the very, very beginning. You just like go to the library. That was it, man. You like go to the library.
I would, scour bookstores, like used bookstores for all the junk and magazine classified ads. So that's the old days. That's the analog. That's old school. It is actually old school.
You didn't even think there was like any bias. You just did it like for yourself. You had like some urge, some desire to find out more about the world, you know?
Well, I knew that I was being scammed. I knew that that the country and the planet was corrupt and there was something really wrong. It was being mismanaged. And so I was basically trying to figure out, well, how am I going to survive? How am I going to grow up and sort of have a reasonable life and sort of a reasonable income if I'm being scammed, right? And so it's sort of like I was looking for a way to bypass the bad people and also maybe a way. Well, I didn't actually want to grow up and be angry like my dad was at the time. So that's actually one of the reasons why I think I wanted to move out, because he was just like really hostile. So I wanted to invent something and, you know, just go my own way. That was the idea.
You know, one thing I love about Tikra, one of the reasons I look up to him, he's exactly, like personality-wise, he's exactly like the people I first met as being a conspiracy theorist. You're still a rather serious person, because like I remember conspiracy theory, I took this shit deadly seriously, man. Like anytime I found some information, especially about Freemasonry, which Tikra hates, but like I'd be like, I'd be happy for a week. You know, I'd be like, I just discovered
new stuff,
this.
Sure.
I'll be like, oh man, I can't believe this. Oh, I'm so close to finding out, like, you know, the great conspiracy. Oh, I can't, you know. But you know, honestly, man, I say like for a 5-year period, like right before 9/11, I kind of like gave up on conspiracy theory. Like I decided to be serious, like get a job and like try to be normal and shit. It didn't work out for me. But now, man, conspiracy community is like a big fucking joke, dude. I mean, like, you're a rather serious person, but even me and you, we giggle all the time about all the idiotic. I mean, people now are complete fucking idiots, man. It's like like
conspiracy. It's sort of shallow, I suppose, in some ways. It just sort of everybody. It's like this guy you sent. Who is this guy? He's sort of like the love police or something.
Oh yeah, Charlie Beach.
Yeah, so these guys just jump in out of nowhere, and then I don't know. They just jump in and as the love police. So it's just sort of a shallow spin on it. I kind of moved beyond conspiracy theory in some regards just by realizing that it was just sort of the study of evil, right?
Yeah, so like I said, man, he's just like the old conspiracy theorists. He's very serious.
Of the disease. Yeah.
But like these current state conspiracy community, it is a fucking joke. I mean, like I'm not kidding. Like the old days, there were a bunch of scammers, right? You know, especially when conventions and shit. Okay. I mean, like everybody hawking their goods, they were all a bunch of fucking liars and crooks. And now you can say it's like easier for criminals to like peddle their wares, you know, especially using the internet. You know, like their bullshit books, their bullshit films, their bullshit. And now it's like instead of books, PDFs, and so like regular films, it's like you know, DVDs. But like, man, It's really, I mean, the conspiracy community, I thought it was scummy before, you know, but now it's really fucking nasty. I mean, it's like, I say like, all our so-called leaders, they're all money grubbers, man. I'm not saying the old people, like, the old people, they were money lovers, but they weren't very good at making money.
Well, no, it was essentially a cottage industry because people would just sort of be doing pamphlets and stuff because they knew that there was something wrong. So they would be putting out some information that actually tries to clue you in on the fact that we are getting scammed or we have been scammed. And it's actually kind of hard to understand conspiracy theory because people actually can't comprehend. They say, well, what is going wrong? What is the source of this? Generally, I think a lot of people try to arrive at this master plan conclusion that it's sort of like they want to simplify it. They want to say it's only one Bilderberg group and we know exactly who is in it and they are unstoppable and so we can only study them and like suffer. And it's just like I have noticed that people want a really simple answer and they don't really want to take a look at the opposite of conspiracy theory, which is simply moral theory. And so just conspiracy theory or crime is sort of the manifestation of people that have chosen not to be moral.
You know, it's you perfectly described me because I'm one of those people who say it is one group. It's called Jews. But like you actually, your viewpoint is actually rather similar to New Agers, though, who you despise, of course. I mean, so you believe it's more the problem we face is actually more mindset. We have to a battle of philosophies, correct?
No, it's just simply more or less greed. It's the matter over mind mentality. It's basically, it's the sort of people that have a linear mind. If you actually talk to them, they'll basically have this train of thought where they say, well, the amoeba climbed up onto the beach hundreds of millions of years ago, and now I'm the byproduct. I'm an atheist monkey who's the byproduct of an amoeba from hundreds of thousands of years ago, and I'm the greatest form of life in all of history, and I need to have lots and lots of money. I need more. I need a fleet of yachts, of airplanes, and I need about lots of castles, and I need to have a record contract, and it just basically people are like kind of fruity, right? They're like sick, and they're selfish, and so it's the mentality, basically the processing or their thought process is based on this timeline thing, where they're sort of a monkey, humanoid being that's the highest state of evolution ever, where they don't really take into account that we are spiritual beings and that we de-evolved because of some sort of planetary disaster. So rather than living at the greatest time in history, we're kind of still living through a disaster as far as I can see.
One thing I gotta talk to you about, man. Okay, I'll admit, like, it's a lot easier to like learn all this shit, gain the knowledge than how long it took us. Like, took me most of my life, took Ticker most of his life. Now, like, people can just like go down like PDFs, go read web pages, listen to like some shit they can instantly get through like BitTorrent, just download.
Well, it's still confusing.
Yeah, but it has in all the like the ease of which they're able to get this information, hasn't like the art of research been lost? Because I remember like when you used to have to go down to the library and get the book, I mean, you had to first like figure out what kind of book you wanted. Then you get like the book, and then like you had to like really read through that. I mean, there was like turn the page, go through it, may have a notepad, write some notes down, all this shit, and then like maybe later you find, maybe that's not the book. You had to go order another book from another library. Maybe the other library didn't have it. And you had to like